for business this month, we decided to bring you real life stories of businesses who are thriving in Nigeria, despite all the economic conditions, ups and downs that we've had in the last 3.5 years or so.
Of course.
But yeah, and these businesses have been able to thrive in spite of the challenges that come with starting a business in Nigeria. And this morning, we're going to be having a conversation with someone very special.
Yes, indeed. Our first guest in the series is Femi Oyedikpe. Now, she's the CEO of Loshes Chocolate. Great to have you join us on Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, now I looked at this and, the packaging itself,
yes, indeed.
even
so
before
much.
tasting the chocolate, is like
Yeah,
amazing.
let me get this one. Oh, so beautiful packaging.
Yeah.
And this packaging is made in Nigeria.
Yes, actually made by us in-house.
Wow.
We buy everything locally. So
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing. So tell us about this business, how you started this, because you have a remarkable story.
Yes. The idea was birthed in 2015. When you've given so much to career and, you've not, attained where you want to be, and instead of just moping and, so I just thought, okay, what could I do? And at the time, we did a bit of research to find out, the things I could do. I knew I could bake. I'd worked a bit with chocolates in making ganaches and making chocolate cakes. So we just thought, okay, what can you do? And this was at a time where I'd just lost out on a particular opportunity that I set my mind on for so long.
I have this need to hear this whole story, full from the beginning to the end, but we have to take a short break and be back in a bit.
Okay.
We're back. We're still with Femi Oyedikpe, who's the CEO of Loshes Chocolate, and she was just telling us her story. You were talking about where you had just missed out on an opportunity.
Yes, so it was an opportunity with a telco company, an American telco company, and I was quite devastated about it. So, so we thought to myself, well, my best friend and I, which is my husband, and I was like, Femi, you're good with your hands, do something. I was like, I'm not going to start baking. There are a lot of people that are already baking already. I have big names, So with a lot of research, I found out that we are actually huge producers of cocoa in Nigeria, particularly in the early 60s, before the advent of oil.
Yeah.
We're #1, but now we're somewhere number 7 or some sort. So anyway, so we're a huge cocoa producing nation, and most of our cocoa is exported, and nothing is done in terms of value adding for the local industry in particular. Okay. Now there's some factories that were doing, cocoa processing, where they do cocoa butter, cocoa powder. But at that time, I didn't really hear of anybody wanting to do fine chocolates, like chocolates that we go to the stores, or when we travel to France, Switzerland, we were buying chocolates and eating. So I said, okay, maybe I should carve a niche here. Probably if I, do this and add some sort of value, then I can become successful one day. So.
Yeah, and that's some footage of
your factory.
Factory where things are being produced.
Yes.
They're fantastic.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the process, of getting the cocoa out of the cocoa bean?
Yes.
And all that?
So typically, cocoa beans are different. You can have beans from
where?
This is beans from Ondo, Ileoluji.
Okay.
So you could have beans from Owo, you can have from Ileoluji, and they are actually a bit different from each other because beans are determined by the soil, the seed that was used for the bean, for the cacao tree, and also the rain profile in that area. So you can be in a particular, maybe in the west, for example, and the bean from Oyo is different from the bean from Ondo. So if you see, I have a bean from Oyo there.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, so this is the one from Oyo.
This is the one from Ondo. And you can see, even from looking at it, you can see the difference.
Yeah, this is a bit powdery.
Yeah, that is, and nothing has been done to it. It's just,
this is just straight from the tree.
Fermented.
From the pod.
From the cacao pod, fermented and dried. And then you have that from Oyo. Even the aroma is different.
Right.
So the flavor notes you experience when you make the chocolates too is different.
She's talking like a pro.
Fantastic.
Like a real pro.
Okay, so once you crack, I guess you crack the pods.
Yes.
You get the.
So what you
cocoa out.
what you do is that once you get it like this, what we do, because we're still a small batch company, we hand sort. So there's sometimes you have a few things like the dried pulp that comes with the bean when it's in the cacao pod. So you take that out and then take out imperfect beans. That is beans that are not properly dried or fermented. And then you have the perfect ones, and then we roast those ones. Wow. So I've been working with these two beans since 2016, early 2016. Wow. So we've developed a roasting profile that best suits the Ondo bean, Ileoluji to be precise, and Idere, or your state.
Now we're going to talk about your packaging, which I think is absolutely excellent. It's international standard in a few minutes. Okay. But talk to us about challenges, because I know that in this kind of business, working in this climb, and deciding that, you know what, I'm going to stake it out, it can be pretty challenging. So talk to us about some of the challenges of a small business.
Now, for small businesses, I'm very sure a lot of us experience quite similar challenges, but I would like to talk about something that is unique to like manufacturing, because I'm a manufacturer.
Yes, you are.
And what is unique to me is that, one, I need to grind for a minimum of 36 to 48 hours to get my homogeneous compound to a fine consistency, so that when you put it in your mouth, it doesn't feel gritty. So with the power challenge,
36 hours.
Yes, minimum. And that's with all the other factors in place. That is your rotation, the speed, the temperature of your grind. So once any of those things change, it's longer.
Right. Wow.
So yes.
36 hours.
Minimum. Grinding at a particular speed and at a particular temperature. Now, once that changes, your processing time is lengthened. So now that comes to power.
So I can just imagine running
diesel.
So you can imagine
the amount of money I spend on power, monthly is huge.
So you can't ever have a break in power when you're grinding?
No, I cannot.
Otherwise, it just extends it.
Even if I do, I need to power it back and then to extend it. So sometimes I have in a grinder a batch, and I'm grinding sometimes 5 days, and I'm totally upset because I'm not able to meet my deliverables, and I'm trying to grow my business. So that in itself is an issue. Power.
So for the packaging, what we've noted is that you wanted to meet an international standard.
Yes.
And why was this so important?
Because I feel that great things can come from Nigeria. And if we import chocolates from abroad, why can't Nigerian-made chocolates compete with these imported chocolates? We have the resources. We are closest to the raw material. Only in Nigeria and South America you find cocoa. In Europe and all those other places, they actually get our cocoa and then turn them into...
And send it back to us
and send it back to us, yes. So, and then also, the vision of Loshes Chocolate was that, we wanted everything to be proudly Nigerian. So we source everything locally. Our packaging is done locally. We do it in-house. I actually buy the paper myself. Wow. The person that supplies me, I know him. So, and then we developed a prototype of the packaging and then taught our packaging team to know how to do this.
So my final question for me is, what is the response been like? So is it friends that first of all came on board, or how are you distributing it, as quickly as possible? What can you tell us?
So I would say that Nigerians have actually been very, very supportive. When they see, they're like, are you serious? Made in Nigerian chocolate? They're like, okay, let's try it out. But initially, when they didn't come in this fancy packaging, our initial packaging, they were a bit skeptical. But once we got it right, they were like, oh yeah, then let's try it. Some people are still a bit like, but most people are like excited and they're like, okay, let's try it. Give us something. Okay, let's do. Do you understand? So they've been the response has been good. And also thanks to the LSCTF as well, Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. I was also a beneficiary, so I got loan from them. And I was able to buy my massive grinder that does 10 times the volume I was currently doing.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Femi Idikwe, for joining us. CEO of Loshes Chocolate.
Yes, indeed.
You can find it everywhere.
Thank you so much. Valentine's package.
Yes, on our website, losheschocolate.com.
And on social media as well.
And on social media as well, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
You know what? I think you're amazing. You're inspiring.